Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am medical student and my aim is to provide my knowledge to my dear juniors and to provide them with these beautiful notes so that it can help them in their future MCAT as well. In the last video lectures of homeostasis series, we have covered introduction of homeostasis, aspects of homeostasis, control system and feedback system. We have also covered the main terms regarding the osmoregulation and about the tonicity as well. In today's lecture, we are going to cover osmoregulation in plants, inshallah. We can say that according to the availability of water, plants are classified into 4 categories. How much water is present per habitat? According to this criteria, plants are classified into 4 categories. The one which are hydrophytes, halophytes, mesophytes and xerophytes. We can say that we have 3 types of habitat like aquatic, terrestrial or totally or completely dry, where there is no water or scarcity of water. In aquatic habitat, we have hydrophytes, which grows in the plenty of water. In terrestrial habitat, we have like moderate amount of water, and in this 2 types of plant are grown, halophytes and mesophytes. Halophytes are the plants which are the salt tolerating plant, that they can tolerate salt. They can grow in the places where the land has more and more salt. And the mesophytes, they are plants which grow where the places where the moderate amount of water is present. They require moderate water for their growth. And then we have xerophytes. These plants have the scarcity of water, like they grow in the places where there is very less water, so they have to adapt their features as for their habitat. We now discuss all of these 4 categories, hydrophytes, halophytes, mesophytes and xerophytes individually. First of all, hydrophytes. Hydrophytes are the plants which grow in the plenty of water, or we can say in the freshwater habitat having plenty of water, either partly or totally submerged. Either they are completely dissolved completely in the water, or there are some parts in the water and some parts above the water. So they are either partly or totally submerged. They are the freshwater plants. Now we can say that as they grow in the water, they are totally or partly submerged in the water, so there is no scarcity of water. There is no need for the water absorption from the land. They are growing in the water. So there is no needs of roots here, because what is the function of roots? They can absorb water from the land. But when the roots are sometimes present, so they are present only for the anchorage, only for the support. When present, only for the anchorage or support, not for the absorbance of water. Their function is not absorbing water. Okay. Then we know that what is that cuticle. They lack cuticle. What is cuticle? Cuticle is the outer covering on the sometimes on the entire plant, sometimes on the stems and sometimes on the leaves, so that it can prevent the water loss. It can prevent the evaporation of the water. But there is no scarcity of the water. There is abundant amount of water. There is plenty of water for the hydrophytes. So there is no need to prevent the water loss. So they have no cuticle at all. They have no or very few stomata. If the stomata are present, they are present on the exposed surfaces of the leaves, and they are large so that they can just take the sunlight for the gaseous exchange, just for this. Another function for stomata is exchange of water also, but there is no need for the exchange of water, so stomata are not present. Then they have no mechanical tissue or conductive tissue. They don't need support. Water like they are not so tall plants that need mechanical support, so they don't need mechanical support at all, so mechanical tissues are absent. And water conductive tissues, phloem and xylem are the conductive tissues. Sometimes poorly developed phloem is present, sometimes only, but the xylem is absent, because what is the function of xylem? It can conduct the water from the roots to the upper part of the plant, but there is no need for the absorbance of water from the roots, so there is no need of xylem at all. What are the halophytes? Halophytes, they have now hydrophytes have a little problem for the deficient oxygen supply. So what they can do to this, what is their adaptation? They have chambers or parenchyma. Air chambers or parenchyma. What the air chambers can do? They can store amount of oxygen in it. So when there's a lot of scarcity of oxygen, they can take their oxygen from the air chambers or parenchyma. So what is the main stress of the hydrophyte? The main stress for hydrophyte is that there is a deficient supply of O2 and weak light, deficient supply of oxygen, and the light which is present there is weak, not strong or bright sunshine. Now let's come to the halophytes. We have learned above that the halophytes are the plants that are salt tolerating plant. They can tolerate salt. They can grow in the places where there is a lot of salt, that normal plant cannot grow such places, because the salt has a lot of it makes the plant low water potential and many other causes. So only some adapted plants can live in the places where there is a lot of salt there. Now commonly which places have the large amount of salt? The large amount of salts are present in the marshy areas or the areas close to the seawater. So commonly we find halophytes near the sea or in the marshy areas. Now how can these tolerate? What is their adaptation? How halophytes compensate their living in the salt tolerating plants? We know that when the now where there is salt, there is little water, and there even more salt and little water. So it is difficult for the roots to absorb the water. So what can they do? Halophytes have absorbed salt from the ground. What can they do? They actively absorb. What can they do? Actively absorb salt from the ground. They can actively absorb water from the actively absorb salts from the land. And when they absorb salt from the land, what happens that in the roots there is more salt and less water. Now remember from the last lecture, when there are more solute particles and less water particle, then this solution has less water potential. When the water potential is less, or it plays in the area of higher potential. Now what happens that the root has more salt and less water, and the ground where this is grown near the sea places, at that particular area the salt is less and water is more as compared to the roots. I am not saying that it grows in the place where the salt is less, but when we compare according to the proportion, the salt in the roots when after they have actively absorbed it, and the salt in the ground or in the places near to the sea, the salt outside is less than the salt inside. So what happened? Water moves from the hypotonic to hypertonic. Outside it is less solute, so more water potential. Inside it is more solute than less water potential. So water moves from the higher water potential to the lower water potential. So water moves from the outside to inside the cell by a process of endoosmosis. How? By the process of endoosmosis. So it has a lower water potential. When the water potential is lower, then the water moves inside by the process of endoosmosis. Endo means inside. Water move inside by endoosmosis, right? Now, it is again the problem for the halophytes that they have active more and more salts in their entire parts, in the all parts of the body. Now, how can halophytes compensate from it? They can actively release, actively excrete salt through their salt glands in the leaves. What can halophyte do? Excrete salt. Halophyte excretes salt through salt glands. And when they are excreting salt through the salt glands, what can halophytes do? They can actively absorb water vapors from the surrounding in the liquid form. So, salt trap water in the liquid form. So, water is coming from both the areas, from the upper part leaves and from the roots, by moving from the higher potential to the lower water potential. So, in this way, it can compensate its stress. What can it do? Salt trap water vapor. So, the main stress of halophytes are what? They have excess salt and less water. So, now again revising halophytes. Halophytes are the plants grow in the sea or the marshy areas. The stress for halophytes have that they are growing in the plant where they are growing in the places where there is excess salt and less water. How can it compensate with the stress? That the halophytes actively absorb salts through the salt glands at the root side, and when it absorbs salt inside the root, water potential become less, and automatically outside the area, out in the outside environment, water potential is more. So water moves from the higher water potential to the lower water potential. In this way, water move from outside to inside through the endoosmosis, and plant get their water. Now the excess salt is excreted through the salt glands from the leaves, and when it was excreting salt glands, salt trap water vapor in the liquid form from the outside environment. The main stress is less salt and more salt and less water. Okay. The main stress is more salt and less water. Now let's come to the third category, which is mesophytes. We have known that the mesophytes are the plant which grow in the moderate amount of water. And we can also say mesophytes are the plant growing in the normal well-watered area, and it can also compensate the water loss by transpiration. Now, mesophytes have well-developed root system because when it has to lose water through the transpiration. So let me first explain what is transpiration. Transpiration is the process of escaping out water when the bright sunshine comes over the leaf. It makes the leaf hot. It makes the leaf warm. So the plant makes its entire body cool by the process of transpiration, so that it cannot danger its function. It cannot harm its function. So it is for transpiration. Mesophytes can compensate the water loss by transpiration. Now, mesophytes have well-developed root system. We have learned in the hydrophytes that they have no roots, or if present only for anchorage. But they have well-developed root system because they have to absorb more and more and more water from the soil. So when the water is absorbed more and more, so it can easily be transpired when it is needed. Process of transpiration can occur if required. And the cuticle is present. Cuticle is present. What is cuticle? I have told you before that it is the covering that can prevent the water loss. It can compensate, mesophyte can compensate water loss through the transpiration, but excess of water loss is a quite danger for even the mesophytes. So mesophytes have its own protection to prevent the water loss by having the cuticle on the stems and leaves. They have plenty of stomata for the gaseous exchange and for the water storage, water exchange, and for all the stuff they require plenty of stomata. And mechanical and conductive tissues are well developed. Why? Because usually mesophytes, like we can say mango tree and banana tree, they are all very tall trees and they require mechanical support, they require mechanical tissues. So mechanical tissues are well developed, and as they are so long, they require all the phloem and xylem tissues, so conductive tissues are also well developed. The water which is absorbed from the roots must be taken to the leaves by whom? By the xylem, and xylem is the nothing but the conductive tissue. Now just think that it is the mesophytes having compensate the water loss, well developed root system, cuticle, but when these mesophytes grow in the environment having the high rainfall, or sometimes it has more grown in the areas which have more and more rain the entire year. So how can now they compensate? When there is more rain or when there is a cold environment, the process of transpiration is reduced, right? Because the transpiration is the cooling process for the plants. So when there is no hot environment outside, why will the plant transpire? And so what happens that the excess of water cannot be excreted, cannot be escape out from the plants. So another process which can plant do is that they can lose their water by the hydrothoids. What are the hydrothoids? They are the pore-like substances from which the water is escape out, and water is not escape in the water vapor forms. They can escape out in the liquid form, and this whole process is called guttation. What it is called? It is called guttation. Now, mesophyte has not as such stress when they are in the normal condition, right? Now let's come to the xerophytes. Xerophytes are the plant grows in the deserts or steep hills. In deserts, we know that water is less. There's a quite hot environment there. And what are the steep hills? Steep hills are the like high mountainous areas. You know that we can imagine the mountain that it is inclined. All the mountains are inclined. So when these mountainous areas, when these grow in the steep hills, what happens that water cannot stay at these places. Like when the rainfall is there, water can flow like downwards. They cannot stay at a point so that their roots can absorb water. So at the steep hills, though maybe that the outside environment is not too hot, but still they cannot absorb water from the soil. So they have scarcity of the water. So scarcity of water due to high temperature, high sunshine and wind. In the steep hills or in the mountainous areas, there is a high wind. Okay. So how can it compensate this such stress? How can they grow in the steep hills areas, and how can it grow in the deserted areas where there is a bright sunshine, high temperature and quite scarcity of the water? So the first adaptation is its life cycle. Xerophyte produce spores or seeds, And what can it do? It concentrated its protoplasm. When the seed or spores is produced, the protoplasm is concentrated. Like all the nutrients are concentrated in it, and it is covered by the hard coat. What can it happens? That the protoplasm concentrated. When the protoplasm is concentrated and it covers by the hard coat, it can tolerate the water, like scarcity of the water. But as it is covered by the hard coat, protoplasm, like all the nutrients, water and other substances that are required for its growth are concentrated, they cannot grow for the time being. They can only and only germinate when there is a rainfall, when there is a rainy seasons. So they can germinate hard coat, they can germinate when the germinate in rainy season. Because in the rainy season sufficient water is present, so it can fulfill its all requirement, and the life cycle is completed after 1 or 2 weeks of the rainfall. So they can grow when the rainfall is there, when there is rain there. So these plants are called as drought escaping xerophytes. What are these called? Drought escaping xerophytes. And as these plants grow for like very little time, grow only when there is rainfall, and their life cycle is completed after 1 or 2 weeks of the rainfall, they have a very low metabolic rate. Now the second adaptation is to maintain the balance between the transpiration and water uptake. Now as these plants grow in a bright sunshine, they must have to do transpiration, because it is the cooling effect, and when it does not happen, it's quite harmful for the plant. So absorbance of water and transpiration must be balanced. So how can xerophytes can compensate with such stress? They have their deep vertical roots. Like their roots, commonly the roots are concentrated to the area where the plant is, but especially the roots of xerophytes spread so widely that it can absorb as much water as it can, so that the transpiration and water absorbing is maintained balance. And the other adaptation is superficial horizontal roots. Now we have ever listened about the deep roots. What is the superficial horizontal root? Superficial horizontal roots are present above the soil. Why? Because to absorb the dew water before it evaporates, they have that much scarcity of water, so it have to absorb even the dew water. It cannot waste even the dew water, so it can absorb dew water, so that as much like from where the water is coming, it can take it, no matter whether it is the dew water or any other. Now another solution for their survival in these such sunshine and the deserted areas, what can it do? It can reduce the rate of transpiration. So when there is less transpiration, when there is less absorbance of water, it can like normal. Okay, fine, there is less water transpired, less water is coming. But if the more water is transpiring, we must have more water. So how can it reduce the rate of transpiration? By having number of stomata is reduced. What can stomata do? It can like exchange of water can go out for transpiration through the stomata. So stomata is reduced. When there is less stomata, there is a less transpiration. The other thing is sunken type of stomata. These are such type of stomata that they are like, their shape is like this. You see, this is the shape, and there the stomata are present, so like they cannot easily escape water from this. They're like cup shape, and they cannot easily lose the water out. They have hairy epidermis which can even prevent the water loss, and they have reduced lamina. What is lamina? You can see this is the leaf. So this structure, this entire structure is the lamina. So when the lamina is more, surface area of the leaf is more. When the lamina is short, when the lamina is reduced, it is small, surface area is small. So what it can do? What it do? That it can reduce the lamina. It can reduce the size of the lamina. So the surface area is reduced. When there is small surface area, less number of stomata automatically present in it. When it has like large leaf, then it has more stomata. So it can reduce the size of the lamina. And then we have modification of the leaf into spine. Sometimes what happens that it can reduce lamina into so small and so small that the leaf convert into a spine. So when there is spine, it has no stomata at all. So there is no loss of water, and the water is lost less. So if it comes less, there is no problem because there is no water loss. Okay. And the last is thick cuticle. What can cuticle do? It can prevent the loss of water. So it has the thickest cuticle among all these 4 categories. When there is thick cuticle, there is the less water loss. Now its main stress of xerophyte is that less or scarcity of the water. So how can it store water? It can store water through the parenchyma. Parenchyma are such tissues which can store water, and these plants which have parenchyma and which can store water in these parenchyma, these plants are called as succulent plants. So that's it for today. Hope you understand it. If you have any queries regarding any topic of osmoregulation, homeostasis, or any other topic, or you want me to make some video for yourself for your special topics that you are not getting properly, inshallah I will make it for you. Or if you have any queries regarding your MCQs, you can even ask in the comment section, or you can DM me on the Instagram Study with Doctors. Good luck and stay positive. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.